Ever since I can remember, really, even in like high school art class, I've always been drawn to like realism pieces, things like that. Black and gray too, I just love the look of it, like on the body. I wasn't really a big fan of color. It's good, but you know what I mean? Test of time, really, with it. And the values you can get out of it, it's just like timeless. My name's Lucas Miller. I've been tattooing for about 7 years. Even before high school days, I've always loved the image of tattoos. Before I even thought I was going to be a tattoo artist, I've loved art. You know, I was airbrushing, drawing constantly, stuff like that. I had 3 periods of art all the way through school, basically. Started getting tattooed age of 18 and just fell in love with it. So I was like on a path to try to find where I can properly, how do I do this? How do I start doing it? And I want to do it the right way. So asking around a lot of shops, stuff like that, and then finally found one. It was pretty much with opening arms, stuff like that, you know. Got a proper 2-year apprenticeship. Pretty much after that, everything was like on my own. Tons of seminars, you know, a lot of money on that, all that stuff. Constantly learning, still am now. Seminar can be one-on-one with another artist, watching them tattoo the whole day while he's explaining, you asking questions. Seminar can be at a convention, tattoo conventions, in like rooms that you buy tickets to, you gotta go, you know, and you watch, you go through like slideshows, artists explaining things from designing to stencil making to applying the tattoo, blah, 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 stuff like that. The overall oomph of a seminar, my advice I can give everyone, what you're gonna learn from it is you're your own artist and you're only as good as what you wanna make yourself. So like all the money and time and investment I spent and all that, all it funneled down to is in tattooing is slow down and tattoo what you see. And don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. Just do you. A lot of my clients, luckily to say, they kind of give me almost free reign now. But from what she kind of said, she was ex-military, so she wanted to start a sleeve like that, but not scream military, you know what I mean? So I try to get their emotion behind it, not just tell me the elements of your tattoo. I want you to tell me like what this meaning, what it is, then I can start visualizing them head, put it on paper. Basically this piece was showing like a tough woman, you know, in stress, I'm good, I can break through, stuff like that. And I just took it into my own originality of like, I love doing skulls and female faces and a little bit of mutilation of it. I don't know, it's just something I love doing, and I love mixing that with another object, whether it be like a skull from this past tattoo I just did, or it could be structure like buildings and things. I just love mixing those two together, and once you do it, it just creates this something, you know what I mean? It just looks good. If someone's coming to me for a big project, I'll explain everything to them up front in the consultation, you know what I mean? It's gonna be multiple sessions, things like that. It's gonna be a slow and long process. Slow and steady wins the race.
Are you somebody who will design the whole thing at once and then just execute it piece by piece?
Yep, so like, especially like a back piece, I'll have the whole thing drawn and then we'll hit it spot by spot and slowly build it up. Yep, and sometimes with sleeve work, you know, this past tattoo I did, I don't have the rest drawn, but I kind of have the idea in my head. And it's just whenever she's ready to put it down. Yeah, just anything really that I can have a lot of artistic freedom with. It's just tattoo's gonna be that much better. When I'm designing my piece, obviously I know where it's going and design it for that specific spot, how it's facing, especially with like realism stuff, if you want things to pop, the angle of a face or a skull, things like that, you know, it's not really fun to go straight on or straight sideways, just finding that nice angle to give that 3D real effect, proportionate to the body. Me, I try to tattoo like a printer, right off from the bottom up. Try not to use heavy line works. If line work's needed, put it in at the end, because I don't want to over structure things, you know, make it not real. I want it soft, stuff like that. So I'll slowly build, call it like blocking out, and then I'll go back. There's artists that will have a strict palette, I guess I'll say. Me, when I'm tattooing, I do use an ink set from World Famous, a Pro Series line. That it's like my go-to, but I only use like 3 bottles out of 5 of those. So it's like dark, lighter and lighter, but when I'm tattooing, I mix in between whatever is necessary, really. So I'm constantly, probably always using a new palette each time. And everyone's skin's different too. So that first hitting on the skin, I'm able to adjust my palette to see where, you know what I mean? How it's gonna come out. And I can adjust from there. I pretty much started with black and gray. So slow and steady wins the race, really. You know what I mean? That's the constant struggle I'm having constantly all the time, is just slow down. I just stuck with it, still perfecting it.
What advice would you give to somebody who wants to become a tattooer?
Do you, never stop. A lot of artists need to be more welcoming, so I'll just change that question right up. You need to be more humble, you know what I mean? Sick of seeing the industry like, oh, you gotta do this and all that. No, be more welcoming, you know? And that sets a good foundation for us. I'm still new, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, so yeah.